guys, and welcome back to the Begin Become Be blog. This is Nige, and we're going to take a look at the process of change in this little mini series that we're going to do. Look, what we're going to do here is just really, I guess, touch on a few aspects of what it is to create change in your life. And the reason this comes up is that very much the idea behind here as we chase our kingdoms, our designed life, is that there's very possibly some aspect of your life, micro, macro, whatever that is, or multiple parts of your life that you're looking to create change to end up in a scenario where you're now living your designed life. And so I thought it just made sense to cover off on that. What I don't want to do is bury too deeply into it. I just want to touch over the top three things in that process. And from there, we'll see what kind of feedback we get. We can explore any notion within what you see here further. So just bear that in mind. So let's just take a look. So we're going to cover off on three things. We're going to begin with a vision. We're going to become with action. And we're going to be in our flow. So that's what we're going to cover in these three steps, and I'm just going to move straight on into step one there in the name of keeping things moving and not being too long on any one topic here. But one of the things we want to just cover off on is the change and goals. Now, goals very much are part of the makeup of creating change, but for the purpose of this particular topic, I want to keep higher than that and not be, at this stage in step one, focused on those action points or goals. I don't want us to look at a more holistic outcomes of the process of change in our lives and moving towards our designed lives, our kingdoms. So let's just bear that in mind first. So the big things I want to kind of just tick off on here is that the opportunity that we have to help us get more clarity on what our designed life would look like, which becomes necessary because one might think it would be easy to know what their designed life would look like, other than the fact so many of us have wake up down the path of following a life prescription that comes from conditioning and society and these sorts of things, to find that that really wasn't the fulfilling, meaningful, purposeful life that we had envisaged. But so we cover that in the Success vs. Happiness vlog if you want to delve into that a bit more. But ultimately, the idea of visioning becomes important to separate from what others might think our lives should look like to what we think our lives should look like. So the really two key things here to understand are the ideas behind contrast and the feelings around that contrast. So the place to start when understanding where you want to be, and it's important to know this before you take any action, otherwise you're going to find yourself potentially down a path, putting lots of time and resource and energy into a particular set of actions that are actually just taking you down a wrong path. So getting vision and clarity is very, very important. So the thing about this idea of change is that it's almost a given that if you're looking for a change, then you are going to be experiencing some contrast in your life. And that's the real simple example there is it's cold. That's the contrast for it. The thing you want is to feel warm. And it's an opportunity. The opportunity there is to put a blanket on or find some heat or whatever it might be. I don't want to sort of be throwaway about that, but it's kind of that simple. You just need to assess those things in your life that don't feel great right now. And we want to be careful here because we are talking about the way they feel. They may look externally like they should be right. Job's good, pay rise, car, mortgage, house, whatever those things are that tick the box of whatever the prescription from society and culturally has been for you. But we really need to separate that from what would actually feel good to us. So that's a beautiful thing about life. Will tell us what will feel good, and often it does that by telling us what's not feeling good. So it is then in the observation and awareness of those contrasting things in our life that we have the opportunity to identify the things we really want. And that's what visioning is about. It's about getting real clarity about what your designed life will look like before you take any action. So, look, I think that we'll sort of talk about that a little bit more as we move through, but that's what I really want to get hold of here, is separating what your designed life looks like away from prescriptions of success and so on, and getting in touch with the experiences that you're having right now, and those experiences that represent contrast, that is that they don't feel good to you right now, are your opportunity to understand what it is that you are really seeking. And once you have that firmed up, then you're in a very good place for taking inspired action towards achieving those goals. So just one final tip, if get some clarity around what that vision looks like for you, and then find a way to be able to reference it frequently, daily, multiple times in a day. Some people use vision boards, others have a story written out of some time in the future. They have a mentor or somebody they look to. Whatever your thing is that's going to get that picture in front of you as often as required to keep you on path, given the contrast that will continue to come into your life, I'd highly recommend doing that. So that's step one, get your vision clear, understand where you're going. You don't need to consider the actions at that stage, so don't put a ceiling on yourself or any boundaries about just what that vision could be. You don't need to worry about how you're going to get there. You just need to know about where you want to be. And from there, then we can start looking at the actions as we will in step 2 in just a moment. Thanks, and I hope you find something valuable in that. We'll talk soon.